Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, Ireland's biggest legend, bringing you basically just a bit of an update on the North London Derby. I would have gone earlier as soon as it broke, but I wanted, you know what I'm like, guys. I like to sit back, get all the statements first, and then come at it and see what the statements are saying and stuff like that. Quickly, before we do get into why the North London Derby has been postponed, I just want to apologise for me not being around Thursday and yesterday. My missus' grandma died, so we were at the funeral and just performing boyfriend duties, you know, giving her a shoulder to cry on with these big bad boys on me, you know. So, look, you know yourself, guys. But, of course, we are joined by Mr. Brady and Brian Daigle from Tottenham on tour, and potentially his co-host, well, not co-host, sorry, I don't want to disrespect Brian Ireland, his partner in crime, we'll call him, Mr. Kyriakou, should be joining us. Just quickly, over 120 in-house already, absolutely insane. Make sure you smash that like button and that subscribe button if you are new, and feel free to get your super chats in. It is a great way to help support the channel, always lead to great talking points as well. It just means you skip the queue, but do not worry. Just get your thoughts in the chat. We know it's a tough time out there. It's January. Get your thoughts in the chat, and I will bring them up as we go along. I do ask for a bit of caution, though. I'm going to try my best. I will try my best to get everybody's up. No Jacko tonight, so it's not as easy when it's a one-man operation doing it. But, you know, Philip, my man, how are you keeping?
I've been very distraught since about 6:30 yesterday evening when the word of this appeal that Arsenal had put in was sent in. And while my conscience or my heart told me that the FA or the PL would kick it out, my head told me that they'd just bow down and do whatever Arsenal wanted. And that's exactly what they've done. And it's absolutely disgusting. There's no other words to describe it.
No, absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. I Philip, I'll be honest with you. Usually you come on here with a smile on your face. You look angry today.
How could you smile after this? You know, I mean, down the years, Spurs have been the subject of a few dodgy decisions, and I thought that day had gone, but obviously not. We're still in it. It's only Spurs, lads. That seems to be still the mantra that some of these officials in high places seem to use, and it's not good enough. You know, up to now I thought Lasagna Gate was the worst, but I'm beginning to think today is nearly as bad because it's just unexcusable and unforgivable of the PL to bow down to such a weak, lily-livered, scared, running scared, petrified of playing us tomorrow appeal to get the match called off.
No, 100%. I think you might feel a bit better after getting that one out. I absolutely love it, but it's definitely starting to stink of anti-Tottenham with the Premier League anyway, that's for sure, and I'll get into reasons why a bit further on. But Mr. Daigle, how are you keeping, my man?
Yeah, I mean, apart from this ridiculous thing, I'm good, but I'm raging, mate, because obviously I had a ticket for this game and I hadn't been to a North London derby since 2003, and now in my luck this game will get rescheduled when I'm back in Toronto. And I am absolutely furious with the Premier League's decision. I'm just going to read something that someone posted to me. So I'm just going to read like a timeline of things. So let's start with Tottenham Hotspur in 2006, where Arsenal handed a top 4 spot as we are forced to play with 10 players hit by food poisoning. Point number 1. 2021, we jump in a few years. Leeds forced to play against Arsenal despite having only 9 senior players available and a 15-year-old on the bench. Arsenal win 4-1. 2021 again. Tottenham forced to forfeit a game 3-0 and ejected from the Conference League despite having a large COVID outbreak, 20+ cases, and shutting their training ground. Yes, I know it's UEFA, not the Premier League. 2021 again. Chelsea forced to play despite being hit by a COVID outbreak. They named a weakened starting lineup with only 4 outfielders on the bench. Today, Wolves, big credit to Wolves today, play against Southampton. In order to field enough players, they gave a debut to a youngster. They recalled 3 loanees to be in today's squad and had 3 teenagers on the bench. And yet today, Arsenal are allowed to postpone a game due to a single COVID case. A self-inflicted suspension and a lack of players due to loaning 2 players in recent days. The Premier League have absolutely no idea what they're doing, and they have lost all integrity for the competition. A farce.
Integrity being the key word there, Dagan.
Yep. It's pathetic.
Yeah,
it's pathetic.
No, it surely is. It surely is. And look, it's absolutely spot on. And but before we get into it, I will get into it. Look, I have the statement, from the Premier League, the statement from Tottenham, and then I have a couple of questions myself off the back of it, as well. A lot of questions actually. I actually have more answers after all these statements that have come out, to be honest with you, as well. But I'm just going to see what Irish Hotspur Army are in the building with us. Killian Kenny says, big up David Harris. I'm sad that the North London Derby is off. Come on, you Spurs. We all are, my man. Phil P says, typical Woolwich, running scared. That they are. But look, that's what we'll always have over them now. They're blatantly running scared. Tot 943, big up the Harris Army flat caps. I hate them parasite gooners so much. They stink the place out. Complete and utter bottle jobs for getting game postponed. I'd love nothing more than to slap them about. 100%, my man. Dietrich Kane says the fact we get fucked over with the Conference League with Arsenal appeal got accepted with a disgrace to the sport and fans travelling to the ground. And Dietrich Kane, I will get onto it. It's very last. There's actually a lot more to this. The reason why we actually couldn't do the replays because of the Premier League, which I will get into in a little while upon my investigations. CCH says Arsenal literally sent 2 players on loan and now complaining you don't have enough players to fill a fixture. And we'll get onto that. It's complete mismanagement and we're being punished for it. Spaghetti Slayer says Arsenal should be forced to play the rearranged match with none of the players that were out injured or on international duty. It's not our fault they can't manage their squad properly. Couldn't agree more, my man. Jason Williams, hi guys. An absolute disgrace, the game being called off for one positive COVID case. Could not agree more. Elias in the building, big up, guys. Said the Woolwich FC don't want to play us again. Fucking idiots. Hate them so much. Couldn't agree more. Still call Woolwich really wanted Son and Kane together to smash them. They're a joke. They are a joke. Stefan Blois says, how is this fair for the competition for the league? It sets an awful precedent. Could not agree more with you, my man. Dan N, if the scum want to postpone the game, they should forfeit 3-0 like we had to do in the ECL. Pathetic and lack of consistency. The regulars, the same old Arsenal, always cheating. Absolutely love it. King Huddle says, what a bunch of cheating sees. See you next Tuesdays. Couldn't agree more, my man. Brian Daigle is in here as well. He was already in here. He was raging. He had to go into the comments. I love it. Slight Dancer, THFC. This is balls. Arsenal bending the rules. Something needs to happen with the laws now. Could not agree more, my man. Adzi166, the dark clouds of doom have descended on us Spurs fans again. 100%. Zoe says, big up everyone. The Gooners running scared of Conte's tricky Lily Whites. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. Come on, you Harris Army. Big up, Zoe. Anthony Gray's in the house. Arsenal will play Liverpool on Thursday, second leg. League Cup, fully rested and fully prepared now. Taking advantage. I heard Tottenham taking legal action, but club site accepting postponement. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Someone did say something about that earlier, about taking legal action and that. But yeah, look, if they play the game Thursday, we know exactly what's up, don't we, my man? Par Miguel Escobardo says, good evening, fam. The scum running scared. Exactly, my man. Big yourself up. Tempest Fight is in the house. Miguel Bush is in here. Ricky V, THFC, Graham. Big yourself up, my man. George Hill is also here. Michael Bennett, Brian McGuire, Stewart, Ian McMahon, Paul Markey, ATX7 Gaming, Adam Phillip, and a super chat here from Stefan Blois. Says, we may not have won on the pitch, but we've won off it. We've never disrespecting the integrity of the Premier League like those lot down the road. Absolutely disgraceful. No, 100%, my man. You're absolutely spot on there. Absolutely spot on. And look, now it's up to us to dish out the punishment whenever it is rearranged. I mean, there's no point in us going looking to the Premier League. I mean, going looking to any sugar daddies to help us out here. You have a chance when the game is rearranged. Go out there and take it out on them. Not only give them a 3-0 drubbing, but a 4 or 5 or 6, and just don't stop until they beg you. It's up to us now to take the go out and get our redemption and put some punishment on them. But no, look, as well, maybe sometimes, Stefan, though, we should be nicer towards the Premier League. Maybe that game against West Ham, the Lasagna Gate, stopped us from getting Champions League. Like, maybe that's times back then where we should have been nasty. And look, if other clubs are going to do it, well, then it's about time we start doing it instead of bowing down to them every single time, Stefan Blois. But big yourself up, brother. Really appreciate the support. Just grab a few more in here quickly. It's absolutely flying. Tony Blanche is in here. Dr. Doak. Kynan D is in the house. Big yourself up. Who else have we got? Brian McGuire. Big yourself up, my man. Leighton Evelyn's in the house. Leo Ghost Audits is here. Everyone big yourselves up. Amir Sardar, what a man. Mikel Laheo is in the house. Derek Hutchinson, Daniela Stewart, Crispy Wiggins, Terry Wright, Gary Bloggs. Big yourself up. Oh, 100% he did, Gary. 100% he did. Big up Shawnee Butler as well. Davy Duval, I was already on the way to London with my man. I do apologise for that. And look, I'm going to get into it about the little how much care these authorities really have for the fans. I will be getting into that, but I do apologise, my man. And look, if anything, why not stay in London and try and make the most of it is all I suppose you can do, my man. But big yourself up. Jerome says, Arsenal are a joke. This is a clear way of creating the rules. They were crying about Liverpool. Now look at them. They should be deducted the 3 points because they forfeited the game. No, 100%. They were crying about Liverpool. They were absolutely mocking us over the Europa Conference League situation. And now they've gone and done it. I mean, you know, you talk about integrity. I mean, they just don't have any. But what do you expect? I mean, they're your dirty little filthy neighbours who don't take a bath. I mean, what do you expect? Sorry, Brian, go on.
No, I just wanted to comment on this as well, just very quickly, because I need to make something. I mean, I've spoken. This is aimed at Arsenal Football Club. Every single Arsenal fan I know and supporter that I've spoken to since this has been done are outraged and appalled and disgusted by the behaviour of their club and what they've done. So the only person that has come out and said, "Oh, it's the right thing to do," blah blah blah, is Robbie from AFTV. And obviously that's a bit of like, let's get a clickbait, let's get like. I know a lot of Arsenal fans, that's Spurs fans, North Londoners, you're going to know them. And all of them are outraged and appalled by what the club have done. Yes, in a way, they're like phew, kind of thing, because they've got their understrength team, but they are appalled by the actions of their club today. So this is the thing, is everything that's coming out is about obviously the club as opposed to the banter we have with fans, because the fans have been furious, and the only one that's done it and come out and said, "Yeah, right thing to do," is Robbie.
But look, I mean, what do we expect any less? Like, to be honest with you, I wasn't even disappointed because it's something I expect Arsenal to do. It's something I expect from their fans. My anger is more towards the Premier League, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
To allow them to do it. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, if you are Arsenal, if Tottenham were in an Arsenal situation, if I was a club, I'd be doing the same. But we know we wouldn't do it. That's the thing, and that's the difference here. Look, it's an absolute joke, but big up, Jerome, my man. I really appreciate the support, brother. And look, I agree. It would be nice to see them deduct the 3 points or the points given to us. But I'll be honest with you, I don't see it because it's not only Arsenal. There's been other clubs that have taken advantage of this. So I mean, if you're not going to punish the rest of them, you can't just punish one. I mean, but you have to stop the line somewhere. So,
yeah.
But look, I'm going to get into that in a few minutes, Jerome. Yeah, I get you, my man. I get you. He says I meant cheating, not creating. No worries, Jerome. I got it, my man. Look, they are just cheating. They are just cheating. But look, I mean, if the shoe was on the other foot, I'll be honest, I'd probably be calling for Tottenham. And if Tottenham done it, I'd be sitting there going, "That's winning mentality." You know, absolutely loving life. Look, it is what it is. I mean, I'm gutted, but I'm more angry at the Premier League than anything. Mr. K, new channel member. Big yourself up, Mr. K, my man. Hopefully see you on Monday nights, brother. Brian C. Socrates is in the house. Big up the Harris Army. Ridiculous decision. We will need to use this as motivation when we get our chance to smash them even harder. Exactly, my man. Dish out the punishment. Should be called corporal punishment by the time we get there with them. That's what it will be, my man. Big up, Brian C. Purav Bat says, latest news from Times report, Christian Eriksen is set to return to the Premier League by the end of the week. Look, there was talks that he was supposedly maybe, or the door was left open by Conte to come and train with Tottenham and take it from there. And I would say that's more than likely what he will be doing. Because to be honest with you, I was speaking to a guy in Denmark, and he reckons that Christian Eriksen has bought a big house over there, and he's more or less going to be settling down there and stuff like that. Not sure how true it is now, Purav, but look, if Eriksen does return, hopefully it's to Tottenham. get him in there training and see what happens. Look, obviously, I mean, we should be moving on from Christian Eriksen, should already have him replaced, but we don't. So right now, between now and turns to the end of the season, if he feels like he's ready to help, well, I mean, let's get him in, Purav. Let's get him in. I mean, it suits everybody, really. Especially Levy. It's cheap and it's free, you know what I mean? So, but big up Purav, my man. But look, I will get into it just quickly. We'll get in Danny here. Danny, my man, how are things?
Danny Kiriakou. It's Danny Kiriakou.
I'm good, David. How are you, man? I'm all right. Just had to finish my dinner, so I feel good. It's the first thing I've eaten all day, so I feel good.
No, good, my man. Good. Well, look, we'll get into it, Danny. Hopefully you're full now and your brain's working properly. That's what I like to see.
Exactly, Dave. Ready and ripe, mate.
But look, guys, the North London derby between Tottenham and Arsenal has been postponed after the Premier League accepts Arsenal's request, leaving Tottenham extremely surprised and seeking clarification on the rules. Now, this whole farce started Friday evening when Arsenal applied for the postponement, claiming, and this is quotes, many players are unavailable across our squad as a result of COVID injuries and players away with their countries at AFCON. Now, Premier League rules do state that teams must fulfill fixtures if they have 14 players, 13 outfield players, and 1 goalkeeper available to play. Arsenal claimed they only have 12 fit players, which I don't understand, considering there's under 23s and under 18s model there. But look, let's have a look at the players they did have out. Granit Xhaka suspended after picking up a red card at Liverpool. Cedric Suarez was replaced early on at Anfield. Saka was doubtful because he came off versus Liverpool. Smith Rowe was out with his groin. Tomiyasu with his calf. Odegaard with COVID, the only COVID case in there. And then you had Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Nicolas Pepe, and Mohamed El-Neni and Thomas Partey off at the AFCON, which may I add, you've seen, I believe, who was it? I was watching Expressions and Troops thing there earlier on, and their Expressions was referring to Thomas Partey having a party over there at the African Cup of Nations. So, I mean, COVID mustn't be too serious if they're over there having a good party up, And then also Kolasinac and Chambers were supposedly on the injured list as well. So only actual one COVID case, which makes this very interesting because we will get into it further on. But the Premier League statement has put this game under demise of COVID, and that's the reason why it's being called off. But we'll get into that a bit later. But I do have a couple of questions just on what I've gone through so far, just so we can kind of break it down as we go through. And we'll start with Philip and work our way around. But as well, just quickly before I get the questions to Philip, they also loaned out 2 players during the week, Maitland-Niles to Roma and Balogun. To be honest with you, I couldn't care where he's gone. Hopefully lost. That'd be nice. But, Philip, loaning out these players created this situation in the first place. And they knew players were going to the AFCON. And their under-23s played yesterday. They could have held a few of them back for today. Should this be looked at by the governing bodies? And are we being punished for their mismanagement of their squad?
I don't think it's mismanagement. I think this was done deliberately. I don't think Arsenal had any intention of coming to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tomorrow. They've got a tough run of fixtures. They already got Liverpool to swap the first legs around, which Liverpool shouldn't have done, in my opinion. Just let them stew. So now they've got Liverpool coming up next Thursday. So it suits them not to have a game this Sunday. They've got a chance of reaching the Carabao Cup final. Yeah. And they're letting 2 players go out on loan when they have 4 away at the AFCON. They have a number of injuries. No club does that without thinking, oh, hang on a bit, we've got a match on Sunday. They knew bloody well what they were doing. And I'll tell you, if they're that badly stuck for players, the wonderful Jack Wilshere is training with them at the moment. Why don't they sign him up on a non-contract basis? Yeah. That'll make up the numbers. The same Jack Wilshere on TalkSport the other night, when he was asked to give a combined Arsenal and Tottenham 11, put 11 Arsenal players in it and no Spurs.
Not an absolute fucking turd.
So,
he's a fucking piece of shit, that guy.
As far as I'm concerned, Arsenal are masters at the dark arts here. And I'll tell you one thing, Daniel Levy and whoever is the PR guy in Tottenham needs to get working on this, to get our side of the story out there and not be nicely about this. Put the boot in because, by God, it's deserved.
No, 100%, 100%. And Daigle, same question to you, really. I mean, like, surely the governing body should have looked at this loaning out players, under 23s playing yesterday, not holding any back, stuff like that, before they came to that decision.
We know the governing bodies. It's getting shown now that corruption is deep within football, not just FIFA, UEFA. It's rife, and we call our game the beautiful game and how it's played and whatever. And it's just gone to show, and this is ridiculous. When you have people like Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher coming out and saying this now, we've got to the point where this is beyond a joke. And I think I saw you be able to comment from Stefan where it says someone is travelling from New York.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
To get to this game. I mean, I don't know if they're here just yet, or they're about to land, or that. This is what it comes to. This game, Spurs Arsenal. Now, I'm not just speaking as a Spurs fan. Worldwide, this is a fixture that is known.
Yep.
The North London derby. It's one of the jewels in the crown, let's say, of the Premier League fixture list and football for years and years and years. And I'm completely with Phil what he said. I completely listen. I still think we register. I said it before when you were on our stream, David. We name a squad of 25 that can only play, and then you get to add to it at Christmas or whatever you do. Why did the Premier League come out and say, right, because of COVID, should games be like this, we're going to allow you, if you can prove someone's got a COVID positive test and they can't play, we're going to let you promote a person in that position or an extra squad member from the out of 25 to bring it on, so you still have your squad.
Yeah.
This is absolutely gone beyond belief. Now, I mentioned it before. Years ago, Philip, you'll remember as well. Do you remember years ago when Middlesbrough got relegated, but they had to call off a game with Blackburn because there was like a virus and they didn't have enough players to... It weren't like a pandemic. It was like our lasagna gate. They didn't turn up and didn't fill the team, and they were deducted 2 points, and those 2 points got them relegated. It was those 2 points that they missed it, and they got relegated. And then you look at like what happened with West Ham with the Tevez thing that got Sheffield United relegated. Yeah. This has gone on long enough. Now, Arsenal, obviously, and I hate what I'm about to say, have won a lot of stuff in their history and in recent times. So the Premier League have a nice little look on them as opposed to, you know, I mean, there is definitely when they talk about the England captain tax, so they talk about Harry Kane should he have been sent off again. There is blatantly a tax, or if you're in that elite club that you've won a Premier League, you get extra. When it comes down to it, we might be able to pull a few strings for you, or we might do this. And when you have David Dean on the board of the Premier League, who actually has a say in whether Spurs Arsenal gets called off, that is quite. It's absurd. If Alan Sugar was on the Premier League board, and it was Spurs Arsenal, or a Spurs great, or whatever, or a Spurs director, they should not be allowed to vote or have a say in this game. David Dean had a lot of power at Arsenal, and he was a lot of the good that happened at Arsenal, and now he's sitting in the Premier League, just waiting to be called upon by Arsenal, and they played their trump card tonight or yesterday, and it worked, and it's quite apparent. It's abhorrent. It's disgusting. It's cheating of the highest order, and like I said, that club. Well, everyone knows what I think of the filth. It's just bad faith, and I hope now they're going to get battered. And I brought out a photo. I'm just going to show this photo. There was a photo we had.
Just quickly before you move on, should David Dean be investigated? And if he is found to have favoured Arsenal with no grounds,
point deduction.
Should he be sacked? Because that's corruption.
Yep. So, and point deduction for me.
Point deduction or suspended or whatever.
And he should be sacked.
Let me just find my tweet, because I had this picture of when they went out of Europe and were ever disgraced, and it comes back today. Which, let's see if you can see this.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's what they are. That's what they are. And they're going to get it from every team in the Premier League. And if they play against Liverpool on Thursday, it just shows the Premier League have lost all kind of their reputation and everything that they promote. Garbage.
Yeah, spot on.
Let me say one thing about David Dean there. David Dean was also involved in Lasagna Gate. He was involved in decision making that day. So and actually that game put Arsenal in the Champions League and us in the UEFA.
Correct.
So that's another thing they can do historically, investigate that decision as well.
Yeah, spot on. Absolutely spot on. And before I ask Danny a question, just Tottenham Tantrum Gold. Big up, Dermot, man. I hope we're keeping well. Everybody get home and check out this great channel as well, Tottenham Tantrum Gold.
Good laugh.
Dermot says, this is another disgrace from the Premier League and against Spurs. If I was us, they'd make us play that for sure. Big up Philip and Brian. Oh, if this was us, they'd make us play that for sure. And big up Philip and Brian. Come on, you House Army. Spot on. Absolutely spot on. Look, you see, everything was there, Dermot. Lasagna Gate. I mean, we had a whole squad struck with food poisoning, but yet they still deem us having to play the game. And it was the last game of the Premier League. They could have just played it the next day. But because it didn't suit them, you know what I mean? Because they all wanted to fly off as soon as fucking 5 p.m. comes to Saturday night. We couldn't play it Sunday. And all we asked was for a delay on it. They couldn't even let us delay it by a fucking couple of hours either. It's an absolute joke, Dermot. Everything I see is just pure anti-Tottenham. And I'll be honest with you, look, I felt like this for a long time as a Spurs fan. And I've always just said, no, stop being an idiot, stop being an idiot. But the older I get, man, I just can't help but think there's so much anti-Tottenham stuff there, and it pisses me off, Dermot. But big yourself up, my man, and really appreciate the support, Dermot. Really appreciate it. But Danny, what I do want to ask you, my man, if it was COVID, and COVID was the genuine reason for cancelling the game, then why was their training ground not closed like ours was? And should they be made close theirs and call off their Liverpool game and take the advantage away that they so desperately you could see that they want?
Well, technically they should. That's what they should have done. But we all know that, unfortunately, the Premier League money is more money in this league than any other league on the planet, on anything else in football. It's the most profitable league on the planet. And when you got a team like that, I mean, I think it's a bit of everything. The reason why this game didn't go ahead, and I agree with what Philip was saying. It's definitely on purpose, and it's definitely with an eye on that Liverpool game, because they obviously could be in a final, another cup final, if they get through that game. And if they played the game against us, where they're going to have to put all this energy into the game against us, and if they were to lose, then those players are going to affect them in a lot of ways, not just fitness wise, but it's going to affect them mentally as well. And it's just like you said, there's so much anti-Tottenham with everything, and it's like we've seen it time and time again over the years. It's not just the Lasagna Gate and stuff like that. There's just so many points you could probably, if you actually sat down and looked back over the last 15 years and see what see like how many stuff has gone against us. You wouldn't believe it. You actually wouldn't believe it. And yeah, I mean, look, there was those reports that they were training in the was it in the stadium or something like that, or whatever it was. I mean, it's an absolute farce if you ask me. It's the most bullshit thing I've ever heard. And yeah, it's just an agenda against Spurs, and it's just so that they can play when they have their fully fit squad, and they have a better chance of recovering the players for the Liverpool game, and that's all it is. And yeah, it's just, I'm quite sick of it, to be honest with you. I'm quite sick of the Premier League with this favoritism that they have over the so-called biggest clubs in the country, especially Man United. The amount of shit they get away with, fucking hell. You could write a fucking history. You could write a history book with the amount of shit that they get given, and awarded decisions to them. And it's always the biggest club, Chelsea, the Liverpools, the Arsenals. But then as soon as those clubs have had their kind of things awarded to them, everyone else just gets shat on. And because Tottenham are trying to be one of those big clubs, they're just the ones that just get spat on and kicked in the face all the time. And it just pisses me off, man.
You know something? I would say the Arsenal board are sitting in the boardroom tonight with a bottle of champagne, feet up under the laughing their arse off, because they put that request in, I would say, tongue in cheek.
Yep.
Thinking they will never get away with it, and they did.
Yep.
I bet you there's no COVID outbreak around their party, Philip.
What's that?
I bet you there's no COVID outbreak around their party.
You should invite Boris Johnson to it. They were getting plenty of news then.
But you know what it is as well? You know what it is as well? What you got to remember as well is we're talking about what Stefan said with this fan travelling from New York. let's not forget Arsenal will have fans travelling from all around the world as well to come and watch this game, such as the wanting to be here. That it just looks absolutely pathetic on them, pathetic. And you know for a fact those people that have travelled worldwide, whether you're Spurs or Arsenal, they're not going to get their flights refunded. They're not going to get their hotel expenses refunded. They're not going to get extra time off of work. Even people that are travelling from all around the country. I know fans that are travelling down from Bournemouth, Manchester, and it's a whole day, and they want to get down here early tonight so they can have a few drinks and not work. And it's just all, once again, as we said, David, the Premier League have looked after their own and haven't looked after the most important thing in the world to the Premier League, which is the fans.
Yep.
And time again, the fans are the ones that suffer for their decisions. Like when we're at Christmas, they should have just said 2 weeks, we're closing all games, forget your traditional football, we close it down for 2 weeks, we stamp this out so COVID gets out of all the teams, and then we go again. But no, money.
No, 100%.
The only benefit, the only people that are going to benefit from this whole thing, and it's a nice thing in a way, is the food banks are going to get all the food that would have been sold at White Hart Lane tomorrow.
Yeah.
So at least that's the only positive for the whole thing. You know,
I agree with
but
that.
look at the cost of that to the club as well. Can they send
that means we can't bid for a Dharma now? We can't bid for a Dharma now because of the game postponed.
Yeah.
No, because he scored a goal, so his value went up by another 5 million. So Daniel Levy's like, oh no, sorry, we can't do it.
But you know, guys, I can't help but think like, should Arsenal be ashamed for taking advantage of a system that was there to help the needy, or should they be applauded for doing what most clubs, which most clubs have done, which is use it to kind of take a break, and should the blame be on the Premier League?
Do you know what, Dave? This point is such a big thing, right? What Eddie has just said. If the game was against Norwich or Watford, Arsenal would have played the game, right? They are 100%, they would have played the game, right? And for me, I just think it's the abuse of the system, right? And I wouldn't say that it's, look, you can look at it in both ways, right? You can look at it is smart, because if any other club had the chance to do it, they would do it. But again, it's like foul play. It's not fair. You want to be fair, right? We're talking about the potential of Champions League spots here. There's millions and millions of pounds at stake, right? Yeah. And they've got the audacity to cheat in that way. Now, could you imagine, right, at the end of the season, say if just right in a hypothetical situation, right, we have the game on the 20th of February and we go and lose to Arsenal, right?
Yeah, can you stop saying the day that I'm flying home? Can you stop using February the 20th?
Okay, let's do the 19th. 19th of February, right? 19th of February. So if it gets played on 19th of February and we go and lose because they have a fully fit squad and we have injuries, right? Just say Son and Kane are injured and we have injuries and we go and lose that game. Come the end of the season, it could be that game was the one that made a difference to Champions League spots.
Yeah.
That is why it's a disgrace, because it's not fair to the teams competing for that top four. And I think and by the COVID laws, they had one player who had COVID, right? It's not our fault that they decided to send 2 players on loan this week. It's not our fault that Xhaka got a fucking red card. And because of that, they couldn't field 13 players. It's a disgrace. And to say that they can't even field 13 players is even more of a spit in the face, because that is just the most delusional thing I've ever heard, for them to say they can't field 13 players when you've got a whole squad of under 23 players, and where's the rest of the players that make up their 25-man squad? Where's the rest of them? Because there's not 10 of them that have gone to AFCON. There's like 4 or 5 of them. You've got 2. You've got 1 COVID one. You've got 3 injuries. Where's the rest?
It's an absolute joke. I mean, you look at Premier League clubs, right? They invest millions billions of pounds run through them every single year, right? They invest millions into finding the best talent for the under 21s or the under 23s. It is now the under 18s and stuff like that, bringing the very best talent, not only to nurture them, but for situations like this, when an injury crisis comes about, that you have the very best young talent to be able to step in and help you out. Now, why aren't they being told to call upon that. I feel sorry for the youngsters in that academy, to be honest with you, not given the chance. But not only that, an under-23s game yesterday, they could have held players back, knowing what the situation was. They chose not to do it. You know, you're talking one COVID case, and even I'll be honest with you, not only for football fans or us Spurs fans, but like for the whole world, this just looks absolutely like a laughing stock. Because it's one COVID case and they're calling games off because of it, but yet everyone else can see exactly what has gone on here. So it's a laughing, like there's going to be more to this, but this is a whole laughing stock. It stinks of corruption, and I mean, like the thing is, where do you draw the line? I mean, you hear the managers, you hear everyone else out there talking about COVID, you know, and stuff like this, and then it seems like to me, you know, there's only a pandemic when it suits them, to be honest with you, because, like, I'm not saying there's not a pandemic, but, like, the thing is, how do I put this? Like, what was I going to say? Oh, I've lost my train of thought now. No, sorry. Yeah, but, like, no, I've lost that. I've lost the question.
Okay, David, let me just come in with something here. Now, what I'm going to say, we're going to take this back a bit, and then we're talking corruption here now through this whole pandemic that has been going on from the very, very, very beginning. If FIFA and UEFA cared about the players, the supporters, the players' families, the well-being of everyone that watches football, you stop international football. You stop players traveling to Europe. Yes, you're going to take a huge, huge hit financially, but the world and the people on it are more important than any fucking football tournament, period. So then when we had COVID, you then made it 3 internationals instead of 2. And then we had it all across Europe. You can't go into this red country, and if you do, you have to go back to an amber country, and then you have to come back, and then you stay fit for you quarantine. Stop internet. When the players come back from the African nations, stop. No more. Cancel this international break right here, right now. So games that have been called off can get played, because what you're doing right now is you've got players that are not stopping since this outbreak. When they had the outbreak, when COVID first came, we had that 3-month outbreak. Then they played into July. They started in September. They played a full season. Then they had the Euros. Then they've come back. Then there was Delta. Now there's Omicron, and now it's just there's the way I said it. Not just for football. In my honest opinion, the world needs to lock down again and shut doors to every country in the world for 5 months, and just say for 5 months, no one's getting in, no one's getting out. We are going to deal with this country by country to get this under wraps. And it doesn't matter what you've got to do. You're not coming into a country and you're not going out of a country, and deal with this once and for all. Because this is just going to keep going around and around and around. And as long as players keep going to different countries and mixing with different people, you don't know where they are. You don't know what they're picking up. They're coming back. They see their family. They see their kids. They go to school. They need to stop this now. European football and international football needs to stop, period, so every country can deal with this.
Yeah.
It's just like the thing is when they're going to apply these. Sorry, Philip, go on.
No, I can see where Brian's coming from, but I think we might see by the end of this month that there is a breakthrough in the Omicron virus. It starts to go backwards a bit. So maybe we won't have to do what he's told. I totally agree what you're saying, but hopefully we won't have to go that route. But what I was going to say is just going back to the West Ham, to the Arsenal thing again. Arsenal under 23s played last night. Okay. Yeah. If Arsenal was serious about playing on Sunday, they would have either cancelled that match or pulled the senior under 23 players, the bench fillers, out of the squad to keep them ready for Sunday.
Yep.
So they absolutely, again, reiterate my point, they had no intention of ever playing the match.
Never. I'll just take a couple of these super chats. Ben Kaufman says, robbed by the Premier League again. Could not agree more. I mean, look, Ben, when it comes to the Premier League, I mean, if you're going to apply what they did to Palace on Boxing Day, surely the same applies here. Arsenal should have been made to fill the fixture. Why are they not made do it, and why are Crystal Palace? Because they're a bigger club. I mean, many Palace fans would argue that over the last couple of years anyway. But, I mean, why is it one rule for the big clubs and one rule for the little clubs? I mean, if you're going to apply rules, they apply for everybody and they should be fair across the board. Back to my point. I mean, it only seems like there's a pandemic when it suits them. One COVID case, let's close it down. But yet we're going to take all night long, and we're going to wait till halfway through the next day before we tell you fans whether it's going on or not. So basically, there's a pandemic when it suits them, but when it doesn't suit them, there's not. They're just happy to let fans fly in from all over the world and everything else. It's an absolute piss take. This thing stinks of corruption, and people should be looking and saying, "Look, what the fuck is going on here?" I mean, like, the thing is, what annoys me, right? You have all these clubs, managers, and everybody else out there telling people, take this thing seriously. And all they have done is make an absolute mockery of the rules. Now, if they're telling people to take it seriously, all right, and everything else they instruct people to do and everything else, well, what, are they fucking exempt from the rules because they think they're superstars or something?
Yep.
No, they're fucking not. If they're telling us to do it, well, then the shoe should fit on the other foot, and they should be made do it. But yet they're telling us to take it seriously, but they can take advantage of all the rules and make a fucking mockery of all they want. It's an absolute piss take, and I've had enough of it. I've had enough of all these people at the very top thinking that they're better than us, thinking that they can impose rules on us that we have to abide by that they don't. And it's not only the Premier League. You see it right through some of the stuff. I mean, you look at Boris Johnson, puts the country in lockdown, and they're talking about 11, 12 parties last time I watched last night. You know what I mean? While everyone else is stuck in their own home twiddling their thumbs. The whole thing is an absolute fucking joke from top to bottom. Yep. I mean, if they're going to apply rules on us, then they have to fucking abide by them, and it's that simple.
Well, David, just wanted to say one thing. Once you've done that super chat, and this is why I get very annoyed. And I want you to bring the comment up. It's not the comment I'm annoyed with; it's the situation. There's one at 2045 from a guy called, and I'm sorry I'm going to get the surname wrong, Michael Cunnery, and he's basically This is why I get annoyed, because things like this, where this guy was going to fly over. You'll see it's just underneath Paddy Hartnett. Or I can read it out, mate.
Yeah, no, I'll get to that in 1 second, lad. I'll just take these chats because they were in first, and then I'll get to it.
Of course.
Murray from that Spurs episode says, big up David and panel, shame on Arsenal and EPL. Was the Super League the only bad guys? FIFA corrupt, UEFA corrupt, EPL corrupt, and Perez was right. No, 100%. Look, I mean, I have my own thoughts about the Super League. I could see exactly what they were going to do with it further down the line. Wanted to stay well away from that at all costs. But look, we know FIFA's corrupt, UEFA's corrupt. I mean, they've had their offices being broke into, investigated, and everything else for how long now? I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. Unless fans kick up about it and really do protests and everything else, they're just going to keep getting away with their corrupt ways. It's down to the people to be able to stop it. But look, a lot of people don't want to do that. And I mean, I don't blame them either. They're so occupied with jobs and everything else. They have little time for this sort of stuff. But that's exactly why these people get away with it, because they're never being looked at, because we're all too busy doing other things. But big up, Mary. Big up, my man. Everybody do get over and check out Mary's channel.
Definitely. Wicked channel.
Stefan Bly says a 3-0 win for us would be fully justified. I mean, look, Rennes got a 3-0 win. Where's ours? You know what I mean? I have no problem the game being called off as long as we get the exact same what Rennes got when we had to call ours off for a genuine outbreak, which is 3 points. So if it applies in Europe, then it should apply further down the food chain. So it should apply in the Premier League, and we should get to 3 points as far as I'm concerned, Stefan. And that is justification, my man. William Kelly says, well, then this game gets rescheduled. We better go and give them a beating they now deserve. No, 100%. William Kelly, look, this is something I've said time and time again. I mean, you look at the team, the ball was, after Ndombele was fouled in the first leg, the ball was kicked off the fucker's head. And I mean, look, I get it. I hate him. I mean, I absolutely hate him. But still, if he was on my team, I'm not going to let that happen. But we don't have any fight in this team. But how many teams are going to go against this current squad of players until they stand up, grab their bollocks, and start dishing out some punishment around here? And that's exactly what needs to happen in the return leg, William Kelly. Big yourself up, my man. I really appreciate the support, William. Don't bother waking Luke up to tell him it's cancelled, my man. Just let him sleep peacefully. He won't sleep if you wake him and tell him, brother. But big up, William Kelly, my man. Really appreciate the support.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it makes me sick what this guy's going. He's taking his daughter for the first time.
Oh God!
Read that. I mean, this guy was coming from County Kerry with his daughter for a first ever Spurs game. Flights, accommodation booked. This is see, it's things like this the Premier League don't remember. The fans, the people that work hard all year round to be able to dream of taking their kid to a game, whether it's like this guy travelling over from Ireland or wherever he's Spain, wherever it may be. And he's worked hard. He's done everything to be able. And probably got his daughter's probably been thinking about it. And just to have it like, no, you don't matter. Forget you. Wasn't concerned. It's disgraceful behaviour by the Premier League. And I think everyone like this should just absolutely pelt the Premier League with stories like that to say, well done, this is what you've done, all because of your goddamn money, which you're rolling in. Like I said, Arsenal are sitting there with a Havana cigars and a nice bottle of all the most expensive champagne or whiskey or whatever.
Women talking all over them in the office as well. They don't care about COVID when that happens, do they?
No.
Yes, but David, there's people there's home right now, whether it be in England or this country, telling their kids like that great guy Michael, saying, "Sorry, we can't go today. It's been postponed because of," and it's utterly disgusting.
Yeah. It's a joke. But they don't care. I mean, they're not going to have anything in place to help refund these people. You know, yes, I mean, like in Michael's case, yes, you'd be able to use them tickets for the next one. Is he going to get the time off work? Are they available to go again for the next game? And what are they going to do for their flights? They're going to have to repay for the flights, rebook the flights, probably lose the money on it. It's just not right. It's not right. Yes, they can turn around and say, oh, yeah, well, the tickets are valid. What more do you want us to do? I mean, it's just beyond a joke. But I'm going to get onto the Premier League statement now. William Kelly says, when we had Romero, Sanchez, Lo Celso away on international duty, plus injuries, did we get games cancelled? No. For weeks, we had to play without these players. Unbelievable. I mean, again, William, it's a joke. I mean, why haven't teams used this before when they've had injury crisis then? Why haven't they gone to the Premier League before and says, oh, well, we've only got 12 fit players and one goalkeeper. You need 13 and one goalkeeper. We can't play this. Because the Premier League would have turned around to them and said, well, use your under-23s. Use your under-18s. Use them, you know. But because COVID is being thrown in front of it, now all of a sudden you can get away with it. It's an absolute fucking farce, my man.
Yep.
It's an absolute farce. It is unbelievable, William. I genuinely can't believe. And the fact that you're telling me the Premier League didn't anticipate this heat coming on them with this decision as well. It makes it even more stupid. I mean, either they have the worst PR guys ever involved in football, or else they really just could not give a shit about us. And they genuinely believe they're untouchable and they can do exactly what they want to do when they want to do it and don't care how it looks because they know they're going to get away with it, William.
But you know, David, the problem there is unless they're watching Spurs social media, they'll think they have got away with it.
Yeah, true.
You know, that's the sad point. They think they will. Now, if this was Manchester United or Liverpool or Man City, Sky Sports will be doing a special on it. It's barely been mentioned on Sky. Barely been mentioned. You know, so that's the sad part. They think they've done a great job.
Oh, they stay at them. Oh, the absolute stay at them. But big up William Kelly, my man. Really appreciate the support, brother. Paul Markey says, ruling required no new signings or players at the AFCON can play and reschedule fixtures. Big rumour their deal with Fiorentina for Vlahovic is imminent.
No. Rumour. That's all it is. Rumour.
Yeah, it's only one Italian paper who's not even a reliable source has come out saying that. No one else has said it.
Mate, there's no smoke without fire. This deal has been burning and gathering pace.
They're not going to get.
All I will say is obviously people know I may be at the training ground. I'm going to say these words loosely because in case this gets back in this spot, whatever. I may loosely be at the training ground this week protesting, and if that Vlahovic still gets done whilst I'm outside the training ground, I'll probably go from Sky Sports News to Sky News because they'll go rampage at Tottenham training ground. Man breaks in, and everyone will know who that is.
They're not going to get. They're not going to get Vlahovic, right? Tottenham are not going to get Vlahovic. Tottenham are not going to get anyone for that matter, right? We're going to sit here and they're going to be saying we're still considering bidding for Adama Traore, or we're going to bid for him now, and then it'll be on the last day. Oh no, sorry, we can't. We haven't got enough money. That's what's going to happen. So we're not going to get anyone, right? And then we're going to have epileptic Brian Daigle.
Do you know what makes me laugh, though, Danny? Do you know what makes me laugh? I mean, just quickly when it comes to transfers, is like, you know, you're hearing at the start of the January transfer window to keep, like, or in December, to keep Spurs fans in their seat. Nah, investment's coming. January transfer window opens up. All of a sudden, Harry Potter's been in there and waved his magic wand, and the money's gone. And then they're standing there and they're going, oh, well, that's because of COVID and the losses over COVID. And then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, take myself back to when they tried to furlough the stars. They took a loan out to cover the loss that they were going to incur during the pandemic, which was 175 million at 0.5% interest. So fuck all interest on it, to cover the running costs that they were going to lose, or that they were going to incur during the pandemic. So it has nothing to do with their transfer budget. Nope. So the transfer budget is there. Yep. You know what I mean? It's just, it makes you laugh. Like, they come out with something, and then further down the line they'll say something else, thinking you forgot about something they've done a year earlier. I mean,
it's Daniel Levy. But this is why, Dave, I keep saying to fans, right? And like that, it's the illusion that the club create. They create this illusion time and time again. Conte is a fucking illusion, right? Because they're never going to fucking back him the way he deserves and needs to be backed to turn his club around. I'm sorry, but it's not the summertime, right? They're going to say, oh, we're going to bring in these players. They're going to try and go for the free transfers. What happens if a bigger club who's in the Champions League goes for those players and they go, do you know what? I'm going to go for them. We're going to be out of ideas. We're going to be fucked because the players they wanted to go for have gone to actual better Champions League clubs. And this is the thing. They need to spend money. There's no other way we can fix this problem at the moment. They need to get rid of shit and spend money to bring in better quality of players. But I don't see any of that happening.
The worst thing that happened yesterday was I was sitting watching I don't know what it was, something on social media. Next thing I see, Tottenham news coming in. They've announced that they bought up the last 50 houses in Tottenham they don't already own, right? Didn't say how much they'd spent on it. But here's us Spurs fans waiting for news of players coming in. And what do we see? ENIC has bought another 50 fucking houses.
Yeah.
It's soul destroying.
Yeah.
It's absolutely soul destroying.
Well, Philip,
is that where the money's gone? Is that where the money's gone?
Philip, you should be excited because when Harry Potter comes out again in 2023, you can go to the cinema they're building. So, I mean, you know what we're giving out about? We can go and watch Harry Potter and Tottenham in the same weekend. I mean,
it might be better.
There's no bigger
heart on it. It might be better going to the cinema rather than watch a team in the Championship. Because
that's where it's going. That's where it's going. I mean, you can already see it coming in. You know, Airbnb, rent your apartment. Why not have a cinema with it and then go to the game the next day? You can already see it coming. It's ridiculous.
They'll give you like a package deal, won't they, Dave?
Yeah, package deal. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, Airbnb, match ticket and cinema ticket. You know, what more do you want?
The Spurs entertainment package. What are they going to call it?
Start biting my fingers to stop talking.
What are they going to call it? No trophy package.
Thank God for 2022, Danny, huh? You know, a world like this where you can get Airbnb, cinema and match ticket and Skywalk all in one. I mean, whoa, come on.
That's amazing.
Absolutely love it. But Paul Markey, my man, look, it's ridiculous. I mean, look, it's never going to happen. They'll be allowed to play Xhaka, Xhaka, fucking Laka shit, whatever you want to call them. I mean, they'll be allowed to play the whole lot of them. So, I mean, I like your thinking, though. We should definitely be looking to put something like that in, or else just completely refuse to do it and stand your ground until the Premier League says that's a rule. Mr. K says, smash a like, everyone. Every little helps. Come on, you Spurs. Really appreciate that, Mr. K. Really appreciate that, my man. And look, Brian looks like he might have to be carted off, so we will move on just so we can keep it.
Thank you. I've got bite marks on my fucking fingers. Okay.
The Premier League statement. But honestly, though, I mean, no, look, we'll move on. I don't want to send Brian off anymore. But following a request from this is the Premier League statement, everybody. Following a request from Arsenal, the Premier League board met today and regrettably agreed to postpone the club's away fixture against Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, I don't think they regret it whatsoever. With Arsenal having fewer than the required number of players available for the match, which is 13 outfield players and 1 goalkeeper, the board accepted the club's application. I mean, of course they did. What they should have said is not the board, Mike Dean. The decision is a result of a combination of COVID-19, one case, existing and recent injuries. I mean, I never knew injuries was a reason to get a game called off, and players on international duty at the Africa Cup of Nations. All clubs are able to apply for postponement if COVID-19 infections are a factor in their request. So I just want to take this little paragraph quickly. So basically, they're saying it's a combination of the lot, but COVID-19 infections are a factor in their request, which is one. Martin Odegaard, who's recovering. I mean, they could, and I've heard Arsenal fans, so what about Aubameyang? I mean, it didn't stop him jetting off out to Africa, though, did it? You know what I mean? With his heart lacerations or whatever it is.
Yep.
But they still didn't stop him from jetting off to Africa. Like, at the end of the day, Arsenal could have stopped the African Cup of Nations. I mean, I've never, ever heard an international tournament being used as an excuse not to fulfill a fixture. But hey, presto, here we have it. Then, injuries as well. I mean, honestly, we've all played for our local Sunday team. Sometimes you're picking boys up out of the pub and maybe a guy from the under-15s just to fulfill 11 on a Sunday. But for some reason, if you're in the Premier League where you're come across billions of pounds of euros, you do not have to do it. You can use that as an excuse. It's absolute load of bollocks. They go on to say, the league apologises for the inconvenience and disruption caused to supporters who would have attended or watched the game. We are fully aware the postponements disappoint clubs and fans. So, I mean, there you are, quick 2-line at the bottom of their statement. Thank you very much. That shows how much they care about you. The league aims to provide as much clarity as possible, but unfortunately, postponements sometimes have to be made at short notice, as safety is our priority where possible. Now, I mean, I just want to take this part. Oh, sorry. And they go on to say, the league will endeavour to keep supporters updated if games become at risk. I mean, first of all, everybody stop what you're doing and give the PL a fucking round of applause. Absolute tits, right? The thing is, right, if they cared about our safety and like they say they do, because they've already covered their ass with the short postponement, with the short notice, so they've already tried to cover their ass. But then in the same line, they also say, we care about you. I mean, if you cared about us, why not wake whoever the fuck it is up who's on big, massive money and get them to work from the postponement till about 2-3 o'clock in the morning if they have to, so you can get ready to put out a statement Saturday morning where it gives people a chance not to get on their flights or make that decision not to go. Why not call that then? Why not get people to work through the night if you care about people, especially in a pandemic? I mean, is it unreasonable? I mean, NHS staff has to go to work. Factory workers have to go to work so they can produce food and stuff like that. So, I mean, why can't some of these Premier League bigwigs get up and work till 2 o'clock in the morning to get the situation sorted out with a statement ready to rock for 8 a.m.? I mean, obviously not, because they had to travel to the hotel last night, get comfy, get their massage, get up the next morning, go for a swim, have their breakfast, and then they'll meet with a cup of coffee and then go, look, guys, quickly, what are we doing? Vote yes or no. And then it's done. They couldn't give two cahoots. And then they go on to say, the Premier League's postponement rules are designed to protect the well-being of players and staff while maintaining the sporting integrity of the competition. I mean, it's just an absolute farce. I mean, postponement rules are designed to protect the well-being of players and staff. I mean, that was the idea behind it. Yes, thanks for explaining that. I mean, every 5-year-old would have got that. We don't need to be told that. But, like, the thing is, you're going to say that here now, but you're not applying, like, common sense and logic to it. It's absolutely ridiculous. And they go on to say, clubs' requests are assessed on a case-by-case basis. So, basically, a top four versus the rest of the league basis, or top teams, traditional top four. Based on existing rules. So there you have it, based on existing. So because Arsenal existed before they gave it to them, and it's at the COVID-19 postponement guidance implemented in light of the Omicron variant. The board examines a number of factors, including the ability of a club to field a team the status, severity, and potential impact of COVID-19 and the ability of the players to safely prepare for the and play the match. So I mean, now they're saying that one case is dangerous, so we need to shut down. But then shut down the fucking Premier League, you absolute nuts.
Yep.
I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it. Decide what you're doing. This statement is so infuriating. I'll just read the last line before I absolutely explode. Honestly, I feel like my blood pressure's going through the roof. The detail within all applications is scrutinised by the league specialist staff before the board makes its decision. I mean, unless their staff is Ray Charles, I don't know how they could. But I mean, it's absolutely a joke. But like, one COVID case is not grounds to call this off, guys. So I don't know. Look, shoot away. Just give me your thoughts, lads.
So one thing I will say, and the thing you've got to remember as well, and it's being mentioned in the comments by Tony Austin. I think his name's Tony Austin. He starts it. What you got to remember is we've now got Burnley, Leicester, Brighton, the filth to try and cram in. And when we cram them in, there's going to be a fixture pile up again. So when we start picking injuries like Son has been getting for playing too much and got a muscle injury, when we pick up injuries because of these postponements, do we get to say, well, hey, Premier League, listen, we know you're really apologetic and you look at this case by case, but because of your mismanagement, our players are getting injured. And because our players are getting injured, we can't field a team that we think is acceptable to play. We can't win. We don't look at our players. What do you think the Premier League going to say then? And go, well, your players are injured.
Yeah.
They'll
rearrange that game in a week, and we have another match.
Well, we still got what,
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Arsenal have a free week. That's when they'll try and rearrange.
We've still got 3 matches to cram in. We've still got 3 matches
four
to
now,
cram
mate.
in.
4, including this.
4 now. It's ridiculous.
Because you got to remember, what you got to remember is Leicester have just had a game postponed, so we don't even know if this game going ahead on Wednesday that I'm going to be going to. And oh my God, if I'm here and I'm trying to get to as many games as I go, and they're just getting bloody.
Wait, what's the game on Wednesday? Is
that was
Wolves?
Burnley's fault today.
Well, Leicester.
Oh, Leicester's Wednesday.
Leicester. Just before I throw this out and let people.
Is that away game?
It was away. I was going with Simeon. But what I will say, there's a comments in there when people saw me biting my hand saying, "Brian, keep calm. Your health is we need you with it." Just to let you go, and William Kelly will vouch for it. It's shit like this and shit that Levy does that actually makes me stronger. So the more shit he piles on, don't worry about my health. It's like the Hulk when he gets angry. Levy's just turning me into the Hulk, and I get super strong when it comes to this. So this is my boy Ryan. This is part of the Levy out protest from the get-go. He'll be with me at the training ground. He's going to be protesting with me hard. So he's a big part of the protest. A big shout to him. But yeah, like I said, all this stuff just makes me stronger, mate. So guys, thank you for the concerns about my health, but it's just petrol on a fire.
David, I have to go. There's a family thing cropped up there, so I have to unfortunately take a run. I'll talk to you soon, lads. And listen, all the best.
Nice to see you, Philip.
Keep the blood pressure down, Brian.
Give best wishes to the grandson, my man.
Yeah.
See you, Philip.
See ya.
See you, Philip.
There you are, guys. There's Philip, absolute channel legend. Absolute, he's an OG. But Brian, Ryan Isaacs Kennard, he has 2 super chats, so I'll let you take them both. But the first one,
my God, no.
Traore scored. His price went up a few minutes.
Yeah, listen, this whole Traore thing, listen, if we're going to talk Traore, let's talk Traore. So the thing that's put the fuel on the fire and why, and I saw someone else saying, I thought we weren't going to protest in January, but the things have happened that we thought we were going to buy people, and people told us we're going to buy. Look at this window. This window, things are going to happen. This is the window that things happen. Look at Paratici. Look at Conte. They're going to do it. They're going to make Levy spend. So we had we might be interested in Adama. Yeah, we're thinking about it. Yeah, we're thinking about it. Yeah, we're considering. Now we're thinking about considering. Now, yes, we're going to make a bid. And as it comes about to make a bid, the parasite goes off to the Bahamas to discuss finances, probably for a 72 house development and a cinema. Comes back, and on the day he comes back, which is the day of the Chelsea game, Spurs are expected to make a loan bid with an obligation to buy. And people were saying, do you know what? That works out better for us because we get to try him before we But then you've got to remember, people, we have to pay 50 million for Romero in the summer.
Yep.
And we're going to have to pay 20 million for Traore in the summer. So 70 million out of that summer budget, poof, out of thin air, and they'll go, yeah, well, we can't spend because we've had to shell out for these. Now, Traore, the fact that Wolves are coming out saying there's been no solid bid or interest or whatever, and it comes to this point. It comes to this point where he's scored a goal, he's cup tied, so you would have thought that decreased his value because what good is he? He can't play in the cup for us. But then he'll round that off by scoring his first goal. Hasn't had a goal all season. We're still. I think we're playing paper rock scissors to see if we buy him. It's like
Levy. It's not just him. Anyone, Brian, isn't it? Anyone.
Oh mate, it's like paper rock scissors. You lost.
No,
and we
Brian,
don't
do you know what it is? It's do you know what it is? It's like one of those coins, yeah. You know, where it's flip the heads or tails, right? But it's one of those fake coins which got two heads. So they flip it. Oh, sorry, no, we can't do it. Oh no, it's landed on heads. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of them. It's like Daniel Levy. He just does it. He's got one of those fake coins, mate, and he goes to Paratici. Let's see. Do you want to do a deal or not? Heads or tails? Heads. Oh, sorry, mate. Always heads.
I just want to say to Stefan Blaise is asking how he can get on some of the shows, my man. Stefan, email me. Just get in contact. Email me or get in contact with me on Twitter or Instagram. I mean, I could do many more platforms if people need to be able to contact me, no problem. But just get in contact, Stefan, and we'll have a conversation, my man. So we will. And look, he makes a fair point about Tottenham. We're told about the when it comes to the cinema and the apartments that Tottenham did agree to regenerate the area. Look, that is a fair point, but it'd be very interesting to see whether all them homes go to people in the area or not. And that's where I'd reserve
100% no. 100%. They're going to go to people who can afford them. Do you think if they're trying to gentrify Tottenham, right? Like they're trying to gentrify Stratford and like the way they move people out of Stratford, right? So I know people who used to live in Stratford and they got moved out all the way into Essex. And they were like, well, sorry, but you're part of the like the council housing and the housing association. You're going to go move over there because we're trying to. They started building up more flats and stuff, and the flats in those areas are expensive, man. And it's the same in Tottenham. They're going to do the same thing where those houses are not going to be given to council housing and stuff like that.
Sean Butler says 35% of them have to go to social housing.
Well, where is that true?
No, it's true. It's true. Like, listen, one thing I will say with this, it is out of Daniel Levy's hands with this. When you build when you build a building like this that's got over a certain amount of flats or developments, a certain percentage has to go to social funding or social housing. It has to by law. So he's got no way out of that.
In the rest, though, Brian. So the other. I'm just interested now. I'm just curious, but for the other 65%, no.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's fine.
But to tell you the truth, David,
the other 65%, does that who's in charge of selling them, and when they're sold, who does money go to?
So, well, this is the thing. What I will say with this development, what happens? I had to live in social housing when I came out, mental health and whatever. And I know for a fact when I was back then, we're talking 2000. When did my breakdown? 2004, 2005. No, 2012. When I came back from, my bad. 2012 kind of thing. There was a certain percentage. It wasn't as much as 35%, but obviously times have gone on and it's obviously increased or whatever. So the rest of it will be whoever the contractors that have got the development and everything, and B what Daniel.
Private sales. It's private sales.
Yeah, it'll be private sales. Daniel Levy will pocket
decide what they want to do with it.
And obviously with the cinema, but yeah, Sean is right, and that's right, people. You are hearing it. I do occasionally agree with Sean, but he is right on that part. Some of it has to, by law, go to social housing.
Well, basically, it's incentivizing them, a bit of social housing, but in order for you to do this, you can still make this much money and have 65% of the.
Yeah, just like them, the government saying, "Yeah, give us a little bit, and you, by all means, all your plans can go ahead."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a bit like the mafia done.
Exactly
when they bought the government. Ryan Isaacs Kennard says Levy is so happy, and because I don't want to continue on with this with the Levy thing, I do want to get back to a couple more questions before I end off. But Ryan Isaacs, Kennard says, Levy is so happy it's been called off. Hearing there was as much as 25k on the exchange, the stadium would have been empty. More time to fill now.
He's got a point. I mean, I got very, very scared at 1 minute. When I say scared, I meant scared for Tottenham Hotspur, because I got sent something by Ben, which basically said if you were gifted a ticket, the way it was worded looked like I've lost my ticket. Should it be rearranged? Because I was gifted it, and it looked like, from what I was reading into it, it was worded that I would have to rebuy a ticket that I already had because it was gifted to me, and that's on the same day. But apparently, I've read it the wrong way around, and it means the person who gifted me the ticket will have to buy a seat because the ticket stays with me. So that's one good thing. But listen, at Tottenham, as Danny will know, when we've been there, the attendances are down. Whether that be COVID and people are worried again, or people have got it, or people are trying to show their
the product that they're seeing on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what they're doing for Levy. It's very hard to judge, but the last few games there has been a decline. Apparently, as many as 17,000 weren't there for the Chelsea game. So then, with the Arsenal, I would have thought it would have been less, but I wouldn't disagree if that's what he's heard. Excuse me, that's what you got to look at. It is a chance. This needs to make more money. You got to remember the people that may not be able to make it now. Do they get a refund and the club resell the ticket, or are they getting double bubble? For like this guy that's flown to Ireland, all these people that are flying from New York, when they land and they're like, well, your ticket's invalid, they're not going to say, oh, okay, well, we'll fly back to New York and fly back at your convenience. So that ticket, I hope those guys get refunded.
Well, at the end of the Tottenham statement that they put out, which I will get onto, they did say, note to our supporters, tickets will remain valid for the rearranged fixture. All affected supporters will be contacted via email with further details.
Yeah, so the thing you got to work out there, David, is they may remain valid, but what about these people that travel from around the world?
No, I agree. Flights
that can't get there. It may remain valid, but then if they say, listen, I can't go because I live X, Y, Z, do the club go, okay, well, we're really sorry about that, have a refund? Or they go, well, you can't get here, it's not our problem. I'll resell your ticket and make double bubble on that ticket. Yeah. So we just got that. Listen, carry on doing what you're doing. I'm going to be listening. I just need to go to the bathroom and have a cigarette. So I'll be back in 2 seconds, but I'm listening. I'm always listening.
No worries. But big up, Ryan. Big yourself up, my man. That's a very good point. You seem like a very knowledgeable guy, to be fair. 25k on the ticket exchange. I mean, it's not looking good. Look, I mean, there's other factors to what Brian was saying about the non-sell of over 60,000 since October. I mean, look, you have the COVID, the pandemic, the Omicron variant, Christmas. I mean, there's probably loads of other factors to it. But I will also say, I mean, fans are only going to keep going for so long watching the same shit before they get pissed off. I mean, just you know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So it is. I mean, Daniel Levy, honestly, he'd sell you up bolognese when you ask for meatballs. He'd just throw meatballs into it and then say what you're complaining about. I mean, it's meatballs. He's absolutely ridiculous. So he is. But big up, Ryan. Big up, my man. Really appreciate the support. William Kelly says, Brian, just mind your health, please, because if you're gone, who will have to fight the fight in the future? You're our modern-day revolutionary, protect the Daigle. No, honestly, I love going on about things sometimes just to get Brian amplified. It's so funny. But, no, look, William, like I said, 65, I'll correct what I said earlier, 65% of the apartments will be up on Airbnb for rent to offer for the package. So that means that's actually great in Daniel Levy's terms, Danny, because it now means that they're a rarity because it's only 65%, not 100%. So now he can charge more because they're it's so hard to get now.
Of course, that's his plan all along. Do you know what I mean, David? The guy knows business. I mean, we have to give him that, right? He knows business. Unfortunately,
I'll give it to him. He's a legend, isn't it?
Yeah. When it comes to business, man, there's no better man you want on your side if you want business deals done. Like Lou was discussing last night, right? The guy had turned Tottenham from a £22 million investment to a multi-billion-pound investment, right? which can make
3.5 billion, I think, the last.
Well,
time
yeah,
that.
and the potential to make hundreds of millions a year more than what they make because of all the other things they're going to do with the entertainment stadium. I call it entertainment stadium. I don't call it a football stadium. Because that's what it is, right? It's boxing, wrestling, whatever it's going to be. We'll probably see wrestling there. We might get a bit of Ric Flair back in the stadium. You never know. So, look, I mean, but
probably charge it for an Mexican wave, Danny.
Yeah, they probably will, man. Probably will. He'll probably be in the heart of it, like trying to start it all off. I mean, look, I disagree with Sean. He's definitely not a good football chairman. That's for a fact. But yeah, I mean, look. William Kelly says it's spot on about Daigle. We've got to protect Daigle, mate. We've got to protect the Daigle.
You know, it's by the way, Daigle has just gone off to get his fireworks. He's going to light the fireworks for the cinema that's coming. He's absolutely ecstatic, so he is, William. You know, he's gone to get the fireworks. The cheerleaders are lined up outside and everything else. He's throwing his little party. Brian, he honestly, poor guy, he can't wait for the cinema, so he can't. Big up, Daigle. I'll set him off now because he's listening. He's running back in now. You see,
I know, exactly.
Going off as he's running back in. You got to know. But Danny, the PL waited till the City and Chelsea game was finished to make the announcement, and knew since that last night about the request, and only announced it around 3 p.m. Today. Now we are in the middle of a pandemic, and they know that the North London Derby is one of the PL fixtures where fans will be flying in from all over the world. If they do care about fans like their statement suggested, then why are they not working through the night to announce this first thing in the morning to stop people from flying in, or at least give them the option to not take off?
Well, that's what I don't understand. It's because it's the lack of caring, which is why they did it like this. Because if they did, I mean, it's not just this game, it's other games as well. But if they did, then they would have. Arsenal probably would have discussed this like 2 days ago, and they could have requested this 2 days ago, right? So then before Friday, we would have known that the game's already cancelled. So then at least that way that people who haven't flown already are going to try, and it gives them time to change their flight details, change their hotel accommodation stuff, maybe try and get a refund, whatever it is. But what I understand, that the club have got the club or the Premier League have no sympathy for fans, right? And it's like they've got no sympathy whatsoever, because if they did, then they might say, "Oh, do you know what? We'll offer you your some money back for your hotel you paid," or something like that. But they're not going to do that because they don't give a shit about people. They really don't.
But not only that, though, Danny, did they take advantage of fans full stop since this pandemic started? I mean, we've seen throughout the pandemic that the big wigs in football do not care about the fans. You had the Super League, the late performance, etc., etc.
I'll give you the biggest example, right? And it maybe not to do with the COVID, but in terms of I can speak for Tottenham, right? Like when we were going for Conte in the summer, and the season ticket thing came out, right? The season ticket thing came out. It's a 5D cinema. Didn't you know that? It's a new 5D one. It's a special one that it's a brand new concept. Daniel Levy thought of it, mate. That's what he thought of.
Oh, no, Alex. No, my man. I'm sorry to hear that, Alex. I see him in a lot of chats. I'm sorry to hear that, Alex, my man. I am. I don't know what to say to you, only that when the game's back on, I mean, if it's any use to you, the club have said that you can reuse the ticket for the next game. It's still valid for whenever it's on, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure fucking whether you have
the Premier League should hang themselves in shame, because this is like we've heard the guy on this stream alone, the guy that was taking his daughter, and all right, was from Ireland. Stefan said about someone flying in, unless this was the guy flying in from the US that he was talking about. But this could potentially be a second person that we've just discovered on this stream.
Yeah.
Now, we were very lucky. I'm going to just say, when the Burnley game got called off, obviously Mickey Hazard reached out to the Americans that flew from Dallas, and it was well documented. But I had two friends that were here from Toronto that had travelled for the Burnley game. And thankfully, I spoke to Mickey Hazard, and he gave them free tickets to go to the Ledley King and Michael Dawson thing. So big thanks to Mickey Hazard for that. But there's people like this where there might not be another Legends thing on. What can these people do? You know what I mean? It's not. I'm very lucky that I have the opportunity when I fly home. I just come home and stay at my parents. I'm lucky to have that. But these people flying in and their places are in other countries, this is just unacceptable. This is just absolutely disgraceful. And I don't know if Adam was traveling with his family, his young children, or if he's got children. It's just disgusting.
Yep.
Yeah. It is absolutely disgusting. And lads, do you think it's time that all football fans come together for the greater good? That when these big wigs do sit in their offices or their hotels or their brothels, wherever it may be, making their rules, that no matter what rules they're making, fans are thought of first. Should fans come together and start stage some sort of protest? Because I mean, they've already tried the Super League. They couldn't give a shit with all these late postponements. I mean, some of the prices they're paying for football now is absolutely astronomical. Is it about time fans from all clubs came together?
Without that.
Yeah, I would love that to happen. But the problem is the big clubs in the country, they get all the decisions, like I was saying earlier, for them. And because of that, they don't give a shit because they're like, well, it's exactly it. Like Arsenal fans are absolutely loving this. I know there are Arsenal fans out there that are quite annoyed by this, but you've got Arsenal fans that absolutely love this because look, they've just done one over on us, to be honest with you. And Man United fans, they don't give a fuck. No one cares about this kind of shit, and that's the problem. Not enough people do.
Yeah, big up. But I just want to respond to Chris Mess with that really imaginative choice of names. It must have taken you so long to think of that one. Listen, what did Reds think of it? Do you know what? I don't give a flying fuck what Reds think of it, but what I do think is our football club, the mighty Tottenham Hotspur, said, do you know what? We'll come to France and play this game. We'll come and we'll do whatever it is to try and get you. We even tried to postpone the Leicester game, which was postponed in the end, to try and accommodate this, and it didn't get postponed on our point. And then Leicester had a problem. We tried everything to accommodate Rennes and to accommodate the Europa Conference League to get this game done. Do I see you, Arsenal, saying, yes, we did, mate. Yes, we did. Do I see you, Arsenal, as a football club, not your fans, saying, do you know what? When it's convenient for you, we fucked you over. Let's show a bit of class, because Arsenal are a classy outfit, apparently, with their marble halls at the Emirates, and have always done things the classy way. Do I see Arsenal saying, hands up, Tottenham, yeah, we screwed you. What we're going to do, let's get this game when it's convenient or more convenient time for you and do the honourable thing. Rivalry aside, the honourable thing. I don't think so, mate. So if you're going to come in...
can't even spell honour, let alone know what it means, Brian. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just they go for it and they think they're clever and they pop in here. I mean, listen, mate, like I said, I've got a lot of Arsenal friends and they've all said, you know what, we're a disgrace. We're happy that the game got called off because obviously the situation, but in the grand scheme of things, this is disgusting to the English league. This is disrespectful to fans, especially when we talk about the fans that we've seen. And Chris, would you say that shit to your Arsenal fans that have flown in from New York, from Ireland, from Spain, from Germany, from whatever?
Arsenal fans are delusional.
It just goes to show, like, they don't even have an ounce of class about them. They just don't.
They don't watch football properly. They're fake fans, most of them. Most of the Arsenal fans, they watch it when they're playing well. When they're playing shit, they hide like little babies and they don't support their club. As simple as that. I'm not joking. I'll say it straight. That's what a lot of Arsenal fans I know. As soon as they start playing well, they pipe up, and as soon as they're playing shit, they hibernate. Yeah, but
okay, yeah.
Tottenham fans, they're always through their club, thick and thin, and most of it's always bollocks.
Christmas, you put the request in. The Premier League didn't just go, do you know what? I've got an idea. Let's help Arsenal. Let's do this for Arsenal. You went and put in the request, and then they bent over for you. They bent over and said, here's the KY. Bang, off we go.
Right, he's probably about 10 years old. He's probably a legacy fan.
Brian, should we not be thanking them for at least giving us the KY, no?
Mate, we get shafted so many times, mate. We probably don't need it. Yeah. Now get towards leaving. Let's change.
Aidan Doherty says, I presume, look, it's hard to avoid it when you're on, Brian, but he says, I would rather the club sign no one at the minute so we can buy Romero, get some people in on a free, buy some players, and for Conte to extend his contract, knowing Spurs, they will do the opposite. What would you say to Aidan Doherty, Brian? Big up.
Say again. Sorry, sorry. Say that again, brother.
Aidan Doherty says, I would rather the club sign no one at the minute so we can buy Romero, get some players in on a free and buy some players and for content to extend his contract. Knowing Spurs, they will do the opposite though.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this talk of Christian Eriksen, now you got to think, when they said he's expected to join the Premier League this week, you've got, and obviously it's only rumours, but you've got to think that it can only be one team. It can only be one team. You would think. I don't want it to though. I just don't want it to. And the reason I say this now, it may be controversial, is he down tools. He disrespect, like we're all going mad at Ndombele for disrespecting the badge. What he did is unacceptable.
Yeah,
he down tools. He didn't disrespect the club in that way like Ndombele, but he went missing for the last 18 months. That's the first part of it. The second part of it is if he comes in, he's not the same player. He's not going to be the same player. I'm very concerned for his health. Very concerned for his health. You know, Christian, if you want to come in a coaching capacity, all for it. If you want to come and train to try and keep fit whilst you're going through all this, completely come and enjoy the facilities, because apparently we've got a world-class training facilities that we all have to harp on about. We win stadium. But listen, mate, all I wish for you is the best life that you can have with your wife, your young kids, and focus on that. Anything you want to do media-wise, Tottenham or anything, and you got to remember, if he comes best, if he comes back, let's just say, now I'm going to be really harsh here with what I'm about to say. If he comes back, and let's say he's the Christian Eriksen that left, not the Christian Eriksen that came. And I said just there, sorry, I didn't compare him to Ndombele. I'm saying Ndombele disrespected the badge one way, Eriksen disrespected it another way by downing tools. They're both disrespecting it, but in different ways. But also, what I will say is Christian Eriksen did a lot more for the badge than Ndombele did. So I'm not saying they're neck and neck, but the thing is, now what I'm going to say is if Christian Eriksen came back, and let's say it's through no fault of his own, he just can't do it, or he's the down tool version, everyone's going to go, do you know what, leave him alone, he's got a bad heart, this is why we've got to stop with the sentiment of players. Christian Eriksen had his time, it's gone. Just because he comes available doesn't mean you're getting prime Eriksen back, and he gave us some wonderful memories, and do you remember that? It's not going to happen again. It's not going to happen again. But getting back to the point, listen, we're not going to sign anyone. We're not going to sign anyone. And people, listen, a lot of people in this chat know me and have seen me over the years, and you two can vouch for it, and Danny's with me on this. I've not got one thing wrong with this bastard. Not one thing. Called it down the line. The only thing he has cost me is a tattoo, as we all know. So that's the one thing, because I put something on the line, he probably saw it and goes, yeah, let's get this done now. But yeah.
Probably sent Benji to check for it.
Oh, gee. So yeah, I mean, I just don't think he's coming back, and I just don't think Romero will get done now. Free transfers, we'll get a transfer deadline day, and I'll be there because we haven't signed anyone. We'll probably re-sign Ryan Nelson and Christian's and Sahar.
No, we're going to sign Defoe, mate. He's a free agent.
Oh, mate, I wouldn't put it past that. I wouldn't put it past that. I wouldn't put it past that. I just saw Sue Smith back in the chat. The diamond.
I mean, fuck it. Why not roll Pavamito back out of retirement? You know what I mean? Get them involved again. Why not?
Get Pavs. Get Super Pavs, mate.
I'll say to Danny, when we went to the Chelsea game, if Martin Chivers or a centre forward is a half-time entertainment, we should actually get them signing a long-term contract to come and help the squad.
Gotta love it. But look, I'm going to read out the Tottenham statement here. And it says, we regret to announce that Sunday's North London derby against Arsenal has been postponed. This follows an application from Arsenal to the Premier League on the basis of a combination of COVID existing and recent injuries and players on international duty at the African Cup of Nations. We are extremely surprised that this application has been approved. We ourselves were disqualified from the European Conference League after a significant number of COVID cases meant we needed to reschedule a fixture, and our application to move our Leicester fixture was not approved. So the Premier League, basically what they're saying there is when the Rennes game was called off, they tried to call the Leicester game off to be able to play that Rennes game so they could offer a new date to play the Rennes game, and the Premier League rejected it, only for it to be subsequently postponed anyway when Leicester applied. So because Tottenham applied, it couldn't. Because Leicester did, it did. The original intention of the guidance here was to deal with the player availability directly affected by COVID cases, resulting in depleted squads that were taken together, would result in the club being unable to fill the team. We do not believe it was the intent to deal with the player availability unrelated to COVID. We may now be seeing the unintended consequences of this rule. It is important to have clarity and consistency on the application of the rule. Yet again, fans have seen their plans disrupted at unacceptably short notice. We shall once again send food deliveries to local food banks to avoid unacceptable waste. We are sincerely sorry to our fans, some of whom have travelled great distances. And Gary Neville also tweeted, find that. Gary Neville also tweeted, game is off. What started out as postponements due to a pandemic has now become about clubs not having their best teams. And look, Gary Neville is an insider in the industry, and he knows exactly what he's saying. He knows what the sus is, and he's telling us what is going on and what clubs are doing. And it's just become a joke. I mean, first of all, we'll start on Tottenham applying to the Premier League for the Leicester game to be postponed so we could play the Rennes. They said no, it wouldn't help us out. Leicester applied, they give it to them. And then same on this one, Arsenal apply with one and they give it to them. But as soon as Tottenham apply, we're told no.
Yep.
So what I'll say is that with this goes back a long way, because you got to remember, when English teams have got to a Champions League final or in a semi-final, when they've come up against a Spanish team, a German team, the other teams, and even Ajax, when we played Ajax in the second leg, Ajax did everything to move heaven and earth to make sure Ajax didn't play before the game, or they moved fixtures. They're like, yep, we can move that. Ajax, you're in the Champions League semi-final, or PSV, we're going to move that game so you have extra time to rest, so you can represent us as a nation in the Champions League semi-final or in whatever. Even when it was Bayern Munich, Man U, Barcelona, Man U recently, they moved Barcelona's games so they could get games in for the Champions League. But when it comes to England, this has happened in England non-stop with Europe. Whenever we get a team to the Champions League final, I don't care. It's like, no, Premier League goes first, Premier League goes first. So when it comes to European, they've always done it for other, or they've refused to help other teams. They refuse to help us English teams in general. But then the absolute kick in the teeth was, it's not okay for us, but it's okay for Leicester. I mean, what kind of precedent does that set? It's horrible. It's disgusting, and you could use it as it's absolutely disgusting and just reeks horribly, because how you can do that literally for the same game and say you can't do it for one team, but then another team, oh yeah, we do it. If you look at this, we were the first ones to have this, and as we keep saying, we had to shut our training ground down by the government. It was like, done, you're closing this down. How much more evidence do you need? How much more proof do you need that we had a genuine problem? And here we go. But Leicester, yeah, no problem whatsoever. Really, it's abhorrent. The Premier League should hang their heads in shame. And in fact, we were gutted. After the Super League, we were gutted for people in the Premier League, or people, big cheeses, to take you're out, quit. This should be happening now to the Chiefs of the Premier League, because they've lost all respect, all dignity, all the respect that they had, gone in a puff of smoke.
Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. Danny, do you expect the club to maybe take legal action against the Premier League, considering they got them kicked out of Europe?
No way. They're not gonna do shit. They don't care. They don't really care, because if they did, they would have put up a bit more of a fight today. Apparently, all we heard was they were angry, and obviously the statement saying, "Oh, we're really annoyed," or we're sorry to all the fans that have had to travel from far away, and all that. They don't give a fuck. That's the problem. They don't give a fuck. To them, Daniel Levy's probably looking at it, oh well, fuck it. Oh well, do you know what I mean? He doesn't give a shit. it's like more money because probably other people have to buy more tickets again, and I don't know. It's just it's just fucking just pissing me off, the whole thing, to be honest with you. You know what? I'm just sitting here and looking through some of the comments from people, and I feel so sorry for the people that have had to fly from America. That's what really pisses me off the most. It's the people that have come over from like
that's true. We've come across it in an hour and a half.
And do you know what? It's not even just America. It's wherever else, anywhere else that people come from around the world, whether that's Asia, North America, South America, wherever it is people have come from, Europe. And it's just like, they've been planning for this for probably a while, right? And then the day before the fucking game, not even 24 hours, it's like the game's called off. And it's a fucking disgrace. It's absolutely a disgrace. I just can't say any more. I mean, the stuff I want to say, I probably shouldn't say. But yeah, I'd probably get you banned, David, if I fucking say the shit I want to say.
Nah, look, it's getting beyond the joke. Well, there you are, guys. Just thought I said I'd bring you a little stream with statements, maybe a bit of therapy as well. I will be bringing you a stream tomorrow. I'm going to try and make it for when the match was supposed to kick off, just to give you something to do, those who did want to tune in. Like I said, I'm going to try my best. Might not be able to, if not, but we will be streaming tomorrow at some stage anyway. With a lot of good things lined up, really, you know. So do try and tune in. We will be talking about the 7% increase that fans have occurred on the food and beverage, talking a bit about Ndombele's being isolated, amongst other things. But before we do go, which one of you wants to plug the channel? Sorry, Danny, go on.
Sorry, I just wanted to add just one more thing, sorry, before you finish off. Do you know what? With this whole thing, right, I think fans would probably more tolerate it, right, if there was more continuity between their decisions and fairness between everyone. If there was a balance between what they were doing, right, and it was across the board, right, then people would be more accepting of it and their decisions. But
I mean, Danny, we're talking about an organization who can't even get the offside rule fucking clear.
Do you know what I mean? This is exactly it. It's the best thing you said. Yeah, it's the best thing you said all day. It's true.
Quality. So true.
It's true. It's true. But the thing is though, that's the Football Association. That's not even the Premier League. It's just do you know what? All these fucking associations are all a load of shit. They're all corrupt fucking governing bodies, and I fucking hate them.
Just quickly, lads, before I let you plug the channel, everyone out there, if you do want stuff to watch today or tomorrow, there's actually a great channel I do watch. It's called Bunch of Amateurs. And basically, they follow like non-league clubs around and follow their progress over the season and stuff like that. And it's great for people that want to see go on at that level. And I mean, they don't complain one bit. So I mean, some of the stuff we see at this level make a mockery of it, to be honest with you. But do go over and check that out, guys. It is actually brilliant. So it is. I recommend everybody to do that. For people that do like the likes of sports documentaries or the All or Nothings and stuff like that, it's actually quite good. But guys, Daigle, I suppose what can people expect on your channel? I'm not going to say where they can find it because they all know by now. But what?
I mean, well, first of all, I want to say, obviously, Irish Hotspur channel is a place very, very special to me and Danny. Anyway, this channel is incredible. It's amazing. The Harris Army is fantastic. They're very supportive of Tottenham on tour. Myself and obviously the Bud, especially when I go on my leavey rants and I start going mad and crazy, not just because they love seeing it, but there's people that used to be like, oh, what's Nagel talking about? And I know that the We Are Tottenham TV Army, the Harris Army, and obviously our army at Tottenham on tour always are in there going, listen, shut up, you haven't watched Brian and know what's going on. So this channel is incredible, and I want to say we love coming on this channel. We loved having you on today, David. It was brilliant. The channel is going from strength to strength. Like I said, we were on 847 before I came over. As I look right now, we're on 2,380. We're 20 away from the next little 100 and rounding it off on the race for 2,500. And there's a lot to come. Danny and I might hopefully we've had an idea for a show that we might be doing. Hopefully, if we can get me and Danny together and go live, and if we can, it's gonna be a lot of fun. and very, 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 very interactive. We've also got the mental health show, which we're huge on now. People would have seen that on my previous channel, but we're taking it over to Tottenham on tour, where we're going big, big, big this time. And what we're doing again, and I'll keep saying this, every single super chat that comes from that stream, 50% is going to a charity here called Sport Against Suicide, and the other 50% is going to go to a mental health organisation in Toronto, which is obviously the home of me and Brian Island. So this is a big, big show. But now that we've got the incredible Danny Kiriakou as, thank you, Theo. So now that we've got him, we've got loads of shows, and Adam Clark. I could do that, Paddy. Just after I finish this, I will definitely give people a Bob update. So we've got that going, and obviously look for exclusive content coming out this week of Daigle at the training ground and Levy out at the training ground. You'll be able to find everything exclusively on Tottenham on Tour. So if that's not worth subscribing, if you haven't, you're going to see Daigle in his natural habitat, like David Attenborough. And now we see Daigle at the training ground.
In his natural habitat.
Yeah.
Yes, and now you see Daigle climbing the wall to get over security. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, before I do the Bob update, Danny, anything you want to add on your part from Tottenham Tour? What the ideas are?
No, I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head. But after Brian, I think, yeah, I'd let you take it away, mate.
Okay, cool. So I'm just getting something here, which is, I mean, first of all, I don't know if people saw my I had the 100k added on my tattoo for We Are Tottenham TV, having the 100k. Every milestone I'm gonna get. It's only very small, but then I said any trophy Conte wins, I'm gonna get rounded. Knowing my luck, it will be a sleeve. Ben wants me to get pictures of him, Simeon, and Grandad, and the whole thing. It's not going to be a sleeve. But also, we had a great interview with Jake Livermore, and Jake Livermore did a bit for us where he even said "Get well, Bob" at the end. And I'm holding this here now. As you can see, it's at my home address, but you can see who that's addressed to. I reached out to charity. So wait, let me just see. Can you see who that's addressed to? The top line?
Yeah.
It's for Bobby. Now, I wanted to try and get a banner made for the Spurs-Arsenal game with "Get well, Bob" and a picture of Bob. And I know a guy that does the banners for Levy out. And we couldn't get it done in time. So we were going to try and arrange a clap for Bobby for the Spurs-Arsenal game. And also, I got told by someone in the Unicount group, they gave me an email it's called Charity at Tottenham, whatever. And they said, message them and see if they can help. So I told them the story about Bob and what he's been through. And they got back to me, funnily enough. The first one, we get a template going, we may get back, yada, yada, yada. And they're like, I'm really sorry that we can't help you. The things on the Jumbotron or whatever they're called now, the big screens. God, Jumbotron, I have just shown my age big time. On the big screens, that's normally for players or kids or whatever, so we can't help you. But what we would like to do is send Bobby a personalised letter from Antonio Conte. So in here, you've seen the thing, so I've arranged it. When Bob wakes up, I haven't even opened it yet to check it, but that is from Antonio Conte to Bob. Obviously, they've written it, and Antonio Conte's just given his signature. But now to the point with Bob. So what can I tell you? Let's see where we were last at. I don't know. So, okay, I'll go back a bit. So last Saturday, we had a very, very detailed, or Kim got a very, very detailed response from the doctor. They had a very long talk. And obviously the concern was that he isn't getting better. And they were doing tests on his kidneys. They're doing tests on his heart, which we know is an issue. They're doing on his chest. And everything was coming back normal. And they started to go, what is going on here? And then what happened, and I'll go into a bit more, because it's the Harris Army, I'll go into a bit more detail what happened. So now that time's evolved. What they found, and they found it, thankfully, what they found is, thank God they found this when he was asleep and knocked out. Apparently he had a bacterial infection. And he would have had this. They're saying that he would have had it for months. And when we're talking months, we're talking during the Euros. They don't know how far it could go back. So we're not talking recently whilst he's had this. And the words that they used was They found a colony of bacteria. Now, when you hear the word colony, that doesn't sound great. We don't know the extent of what that colony is, but because he was out of it, they were able to find it and they were able to treat it. And they think this was the underlying issue. And then they said to us last Saturday, today is day one of his recovery. Today is the day he starts recovering because we think we've got it. Because obviously he's been there now, January? He's been in hospital over a month. So they found this, and then what has happened is his breathing and his dependency on the ventilator has been going down. It wasn't 75, it dropped to 60. From 60, it dropped to whatever. And then a couple of days ago, for the first time ever, it went below 50% to 45. What we do, and we take for granted what we're doing every single day, especially when you look at someone like Bob right now. We apparently, the oxygen levels or intake we use, whatever term you want to use, is 21%. So Bob's got it down to 45. What they have done, now don't everyone in the comments start going, yes, thank God, because there's a bit more to what I'm about to say. Bob is awake. But when I say awake, they've started to very, very slowly wean him off the sedation. And what they also done is they gave him a drug to paralyze him because they wanted him still and not moving because he had all the tubes and don't want him moving and causing any damage. So they are now removing very, very slowly the sedation. So Bobby's eyes are open. He's awake. He's sleeping when he needs to sleep and whatever, but he's still heavily, heavily sedated. He is being quite, what's the word that Kim used and Tammy used? Agitated. Because obviously he's been in a coma for 11, 12 days. He wakes up, he doesn't know what's going on. I don't even know if he knows right now that he's been moved back to Harlow from Milton Keynes. Such as when he went to sleep, when he first went in the coma, he was in Harlow, they moved to Milton Keynes, he woke up in Milton Keynes, went back on the coma, and now he's back in. So it's a long road for Bobby. They got to ease him off, and then also you got to remember his muscles for the last month have hardly been in use. His body is going to have to. So the timeline they came, and I don't know how they came with this timeline, but they've seen this over the years. They reckon in a month's time, Bobby may be good to go home. Maybe. But then also he's got the recovery and the therapy and the rehab and not counselling, physio. Physio is the word I was looking for. Yeah. So the one thing I could just say today, his breathing went up again. It went up to 50%. But they did say to us, this is what's going to happen day to day. As he's coming out of the sedation and we're weaning him off, it will go up occasionally if we've done it too fast or whatever. So at the moment, this week has been a week where he's trending in the right direction. Today was the only day where he's got up a little bit in his breathing or his dependency on the ventilator. So everything else is positive. But like we keep saying, and as I've been saying, obviously Kim and Tammy are doing a wonderful job. The three of us are in a WhatsApp group, and the fact that it's Tammy and Kim who get on famously, it's amazing. It really has been a good group, and we're making sure the kids are okay and everything like that. Them two are doing a wonderful job. Danny was with me when we had a call last week where things were looking terrible. Last Tuesday, was it, Danny? Last Tuesday, things were looking horrific at one point. And we spoke because we wanted to try and get me able to call in the doctors if they're busy. They won't allow me to go on anything until Bob, because I'm not family or whatever. But they're doing a wonderful, wonderful job doing that. And I've got the mouthpiece because I'm on these platforms. The one thing we keep saying is this is day by day. No news is when we don't translate anything. I know it's been a little while, and I do apologise for that, especially on this channel. I've been saying bits and pieces. If there is no update, if there isn't an update, or if the updates recently, there is no update. But now they're coming in a bit more frequently with positivity. So at the moment, he's okay. He's at 45, 50%. He is coming back to us. He has had a huge fight. He has been heartbroken with the loss of his father. Also, you got to remember he's lost his mum and his brother. He went in heartbroken. He couldn't appear at his dad's funeral. He had to watch it from a hospital bed. That's the day he actually went into the coma after that, funnily enough. So he's been fighting heartbroken. But the great thing is and I can't stress this enough. I and every one of the Spurs YouTubers that know him are taken aback by the love that has been shown to him from people in the comments, people in the chats, YouTubers. He is on everyone's thoughts, and there is nothing more people want. And I think the day Bob comes back to YouTube, I guess to say I'm back, pissed off everyone. I think the numbers are going to be off the goddamn charts. I want to be with him. They lost it. They left his phone in Milton Keynes. So Kim's got it, and I've said to Kim, I've got to be with him when he turns that phone on because I want to see a phone explode because it's just going to go ping, 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 ping because of for all the love that he has been shown. But yeah, he is on the road to recovery. More news to be broken when I have it. And yeah, just all your thoughts, loves, and prayers that have gone out are being answered. So just carry on doing what you're doing. He loves you. We all love you. And yeah, we can't wait to have him back.
No, big up, Bob, and look, hopefully, full recovery. No long-lasting damage or anything like that, and he can recover and get back to us soon. I mean, it's a better world with him here, so big up, Bob, and hopefully, you can pull through, my man. But look,
yeah, my wife wants to kick his ass because I keep extending my flights. So Bob, it's just been extended again. So when I spoke to my wife, she was just like, okay, you're doing it for Bob. Okay. I have got some major making up to do, or not major making up, but whatever my wife wants to do for the next 3 God knows decades. I'm going to be, yes, dear. You want to go to the ballet? You want to do something I really hate? Of course, darling, I'd love to. Nothing would suit me more.
You're going to regret that. I'm telling you, women are evil at times, lad.
Not mine. Thank God, my wife. Thank God. I am very lucky to have the woman that I do. Love my wife.
Good. Well, look, guys, everybody get over and make sure you check out Tottenham on Tour. Smash that subscribe button. I did put the link in the chat there, so just go and click on it and get over there and smash the subscribe. We will be back tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. If you're around, it should be a very good show. We'll be talking about the end on belly food and beverage price hikes on the fans and stuff like that. So a lot more to talk about tomorrow, guys. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Thank you for everyone who supports the channel financially. Really, really appreciate it. And thank you to Brian and Danny. And as always, contact with trust. Come on.
Leave you out.
Leave you out.